It is a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and the Florida Gators just got to commit. Tae'Shaun Gelsey, you are a Florida Gator.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever this is in the podcast and on YouTube. Sometimes we're here on Saturdays. This week we had a lot for you, right? And the reason we got to do that is because Florida Gators got 2 commits this week. So we had Monday show, Tuesday show, 2 Wednesday shows, 2 Thursday shows, a Friday show, and a Saturday show. You got a lot of Locked On Gators content this week because we got some pretty damn good news. The most recent good news being Tae'Shaun Gelsey, 3-star tight end, has committed to the Florida Gators. Out of Jacksonville, played high school football at Riverside. 3-star athlete that's going to play tight end. He plays more of a wide receiver role in high school. That's nothing new for Florida. In fact, when you look at Florida and what they've done at tight end in the past even decade or so, a lot of what they do at tight end is guys who weren't tight ends and moved to tight ends either at Florida or shortly before Florida. Kyle Pitts was a quarterback before he moved to tight end. Hayden Hansen was a quarterback before he moved to tight end. Arliss Boardingham was a wide receiver before he moved to tight end. Amir Jackson was a wide receiver before he was tight end listed. But dude, again, I've said it. Perimeter screens, end arounds, he's a receiver. So Florida has gone through a lot of that with position changes to tight end, and that's what they have. So I know that a lot of people automatically go, oh, because you're making a position change, you're raw. That's not always true. The way that I look at that is Hayden. I will be completely honest. Hayden Hansen, the main reason that I became a big fan of his and his film was that his high school film, while knowing that he was a quarterback transitioning to tight end, didn't look like he had no idea what he was doing. So it's not that everybody can be a project. Micah Jones, who committed to the Florida Gators last week as a tight end. He is an inline guy that I don't think I'm relying on playing early because in 2025, you will still almost definitely have Hayden Hansen and Tony Livingston and Caleb Rillos will all be able to participate on that inline or contribute on that inline spot. So I don't know what to expect from Micah Jones, but Micah Jones' high school film as a tight end looks pretty good. Okay. Tae'Shaun Gelsey as your now pass catching option, the one who committed today. Again, Micah Jones committed last Friday. Tae'Shaun Gelsey committed this Saturday. Great complementary option. Also important to acknowledge, the Florida Gators done at tight end for the 2025 cycle. Their plan has been and will probably continue to be take 2 tight ends in this class. Okay, and we've been talking about it for weeks, where Florida had 6 or 7 tight ends officially visit throughout the month of June, through those 3 weeks that they had official visitors. All right, 4. It was May 31st, June 7th, June 14th, June 21st. So those 4 visits, they had 6 or 7 tight ends. And they had legitimate shots with just about all of them. Caden Peoning decided to continue his commitment with UCF. Hollis Davidson said that he's deciding between Auburn and Florida State. And I do believe that Hollis Davidson was probably going to wind up at Auburn, wherever he announced his commitment, whenever that is. But Florida was genuinely interested in him. But I don't think he would have made his decision in time because I said this too, with all of the Gators tight end visits that happened this spring, it always felt to me like they were kind of saying, hey, these are the guys that we are willing to take commitments from at tight end in this class. The first 2 in the boat are the first 2 in. We're not necessarily getting too hung up on priorities. And I do think that's how it shook out. I do think that Micah Jones committed last week, secured his spot. Tae'Shaun Gelsey committed Saturday, secured his spot. Committed today, secured his spot. If he committed or if someone else committed 4 days ago, maybe Tae'Shaun Gelsey wouldn't be able to commit, but he's here. And I'll tell you what, you can go back to May 28th. That is when I sent the message to the Locked On Gators Insider Program. Okay? The link's in the description below if you want to be a part of it. I sent a message on May 28th, and I said, I'm predicting Tae'Shaun Gelsey. Like, these are my predictions. There are 3 predictions for 2025 kids to commit to Florida. I try not to do like the when I know, like once I get told, hey, it's going to happen, I'm not going to send out a prediction because I'm not keeping track like a crystal ball or RPM, whatever. So if I get told, hey, this kid's committing, I'm not saying anything about it. Tae'Shaun Gelsey, May 28th, I said it. It was Tae'Shaun Gelsey, Nayshawn Montgomery, and Kobe Howard were the 3 guys, and Kobe Howard was before that. So those are the 3 guys that I think were going to be Florida Gator commits. That's who I predicted. Tae'Shaun Gelsey, watching his film, is someone that's raw. He is going to be a project, but good size. And again, there's no rush to contribute early with these kids. Like, there is no rush. He's 6'4", 210. You need to bulk up considerably, okay? I need you up in the 240s. Like, I need you to be and 240s at least. Like, I need you to be around there. That's about what Arliss is. But Tae'Shaun Gelsey, a little different. He's longer, it looks like. Arliss is a very stout tight end. Which is very odd considering that he's, more of the pass catching receiving type, but he's a pretty stout tight end. And so Florida now, you have 2 tight ends coming in Amir Jackson this year, Tae'Shaun Gelsey next year, that play that receiver role, but are different builds from Arliss. So I'm curious to see how that role grows in the offense, especially with Russ Callaway. I think it can grow quite a bit there. But I do think that Tae'Shaun Gelsey is a good add. You're adding an in-state kid from Jacksonville, so you get a Duval kid to join. And I do think it's important. You got to land these in-state kids. Like once Florida got involved with Tae'Shaun Gelsey, it was like, okay, they feel like they've got a significant lead here, and they should because they're Florida. He's a Jacksonville kid. You should win those battles. And I don't care about the 3-star. I don't care about it being a project. I was on Respect Our Decision earlier this week for their 100th episode, which congrats again, guys. And my stance was, I'm fine if you take these swings at players. I would personally just prefer you did it at premium positions. QB, receiver, offensive tackle, pass rusher, corner. Swing at those. But I'm fine with taking these swings. I'm also fine with saying, hey, I don't care if he's a 3-star because I'm going to trust the offer list that these kids have. Tae'Shaun Gelsey, it came down to Florida and Tulane, yeah. But his offer list included Auburn, Kentucky, UCF. Like, Tulane was the outlier here. I want to make that clear. Tulane was the outlier. You look at the Power 5 offers. Outside of those, you had West Virginia, Maryland, Indiana, Cincinnati, Wake Forest, Boston College. Georgia had an offer with them. Like, all of these things were legitimate possibilities. It's just how it shook out. Maybe where he felt prioritized or a fit may be different, but Tae'Shaun Gelsey is a good ad for me. I don't care about the ranking. I never have, and I never really will. I get it. It's a decent indicator in the macro, but we're talking about the micro, right? In the macro, when you talk about the grand scheme of things, a lot of 5-stars work out. But when you talk about an individual player, it's really not as reliable when you talk about individuals there because there's a lot of luck involved. It's like the NFL draft. We are about to talk about the rest of this 2025 recruiting class for the Florida Gators. Just saying, I'm excited for it. With passion, drive, and patience, that's the formula for winning championships, and it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust hits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for, and with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your parts guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber and not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions applied. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer that you get to the first pitch. I've said it before, like I use Game Time for everything. Genuinely, it is the only service I use to buy tickets now. Anita, early June. next Saturday, a week from today, going to see Shabuzi perform, using Game Time for that. In about 3 weeks, I'm planning on going to 4 weeks, going to see that Mexican OT. I'm going to go buy my Miami tickets for this. Florida hosting Miami, August 31st. I'll be there. We'll probably set something up live there. It's going to be a blast. I'm going to use Game Time to buy those tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying any tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. To wrap up this bonus episode of Locked On Gators, because don't forget, like I said, you got an episode Monday. You got an episode Tuesday. You got 2 episodes on Wednesday. You got 2 episodes on Thursday, one of which was a live show. And same thing with Wednesday, one of which was a live show. You got an episode on Friday. You're getting an episode today. A lot of content here. A lot of content with Locked On Gators, because guess what? The summer is for recruiting, and that's what the Florida Gators know. Hopefully July is going to be a pretty good month for the Florida Gators. Like, you added 2 tight ends in the past week. That's wonderful. You added, 8 days. You added a receiver this week. That's wonderful. Maybe the next few weeks, add a couple more receivers, one of which being a legacy. Just saying, one of which deciding between Florida and Penn State, and LSU's like kind of still trying to float around, but really no. I'm just saying. A lot of talent on the board right now. A lot of talent on the board. And that's one thing too, where I feel like looking at the Florida Gators and what they've done in, this 2025 class. You look at recent years under Billy Napier. Billy Napier has always said, hey, we want to win the state of Florida recruiting. And it's not that it hasn't happened, but it hasn't been as prominent. And people have said, hey, you know what? Weak class, like 2024. A lot of people were not high on the state of Florida high school class in 2024. Looking at 2025 class, Jalen Wiggins, Florida. Joshua Moore, Florida. Waltez Clark, Florida. Jeremiah McLeod, Florida. Then you go to Tae'Shaun Gelsey, Florida. That's 5 of your 8. The only 3 not are Hayden Craig, the punter from Maine. You've got Chad Gasper, the running back from Texas. Micah Jones, tight end from Mississippi. But this start of the class for the Florida Gators in 2025 is trending heavily in favor of in-state kids. And then you look at the 2026 class, Will Griffin, Florida. Jalen Waters, Florida. So all the kids that you've got there, of your next 10 commits, or your current 10 commits for the next 2 years, you got 7 Florida. That's trending up. Just want to say that's trending up in terms of winning the state, because that was a big thing for that. Again, that's always been a big thing for Billy Napier, is wanting to win the state. Set that 500-mile perimeter or whatever he called it. But that's been a big thing, and Florida seems to be doing it a bit. And receiver in the 2025 class, you got kids, right? Like you have enough kids at receiver in state that you can look at and go, okay, like you can finish this class off with just this state of receiver, because you look at what you have now, which is Joshua Moore from Florida. I don't think you land Jamie French or Dallas Wilson, but Vernell Brown III. Donovan Olubide, who's technically from Illinois, but IMG, so he's Florida. You got Nayshawn Montgomery. You got Kobe Howard you're in there for. A lot of what you can do at receiver this year, you can wipe off in Florida. That's not even including CJ Ingram. Like, receiver can wipe up with Florida. Truly. In-state, you could do it. This year, there's only 2 blue-chip players at offensive tackle from the state of Florida. One of them, Zaire Addison. The rumor is that Florida backed off of Zaire Addison. I don't think they were winning that battle anyway. It was possible, but I don't think they were winning that battle. But you look at interior offensive line, then another 2 blue chips only. One of them is Max Buchanan, who cut Florida off pretty early in the process. And the other one's Solomon Thomas, who Florida is very much still competing for there. I don't even know what that beep was. If you heard a beep, I don't know what that was. But in-state at offensive line, it's just not that good this year. I think what you can do is go for some lower ranked athletes. And by not that good, I mean in terms of rankings, but go for some lower ranked athletes. Try to knock it out of the park with them. But for the most part, Florida in 2025 seems to be going, we are winning the state back. Like we're going to handle that. And you've got a good class to do that in. A lot of the players that Florida is competing for, in-state kids, corner, whoever you add from the class, probably going to be in the state of Florida, whether that's DJ Pickett, Ben Hanks, if you go back and spin the block on Chris McCorkle, whoever it is, you can win there. Like Florida has a lot of options. Florida needs a lot still in this class. It's still very early in the building part of this class, but you do need to pick up some momentum, land some more commits. You want 3 more receivers committed, get them. You're good at QB and running back. I know QB, you still want Tramel Jones, but if you don't get him, I'm not upset. But QB, you can be done at. Running back, you are done at. Tight end, you are done at. Receiver, 3 more. O-line, please at least 4 more. Defense, you need a lot to add. Still, you got 2 on the D-line so far, but could always use more. Could use a nose. Kind of, you missed out on a couple, and some you kind of backed off on, and it's weird. I disagree, but they get paid millions, not me. But this Florida Gators 2025 class, I do think there's a lot of momentum that could be had and a lot of momentum that could be won if you just win the first couple of games of the season. I think you really instill some confidence if you're Billy Napier and this coaching staff. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free right listen to the podcast. We'll be back Monday. Talk more Florida Gators football for Locked On Gators. I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. And I will see you all next time.